Support for this Raptors Weekly podcast comes from Pizza Pizza, a proud sponsor of the 2015 Raptors Republic 3-on-3 Summer Slam. Call 416-967-1111 to order now. That's 416-967-1111. Pizza Pizza, your local pizzeria.
Welcome to Raptors Weekly for the week of June the 22nd. It's a special edition of the podcast. Since Sunday was Father's Day, we didn't have a roundtable discussion, and everybody was off, except the people who attended the Raptors Republic 3-on-3 tournament at Scarborough in Variety Village. And so we took the show live. We took our mics down to the arena and talked to a bunch of people, including Blake, who gave his thoughts on free agency, the draft, and a bunch of other topics. And also talked to a bunch of Raptor fans who gave us their opinions on what the team's been up to and how they should move forward. So without further ado, after the break, you will hear from Blake first, and that's followed by a conversation with a few Raptor fans who were at the arena. So listen and enjoy.
All right, here with Blake Murphy at the Raptors Republic tournament. It's halftime here, kind of round-robin play is over. Knockout stage starts in about half an hour or so. I got Blake with me here. Blake, man, how's things going so far?
Good, man. How you doing?
Not bad. Some competitive teams, some shitty teams. Anything that particularly stuck out with you here?
A guy from Raptors HQ is 3-0. Someone's got to take that team out.
Woo! And we got two RR teams here. One from Nick Reynoldson and Barry Tiller from Talking Raptors, and we also got Sam. Sam's doing all right.
They're okay. Yeah, narrow losses, and they cleaned up Barry and Nick. So, I mean, they're not winless. Barry and Nick say they're lying in the weeds, playing a little rope-a-dope, so we'll have to see in there.
How are Barry and Nick doing so far? I noticed some headbands there on that team.
Yeah, the headbands is about all they've got going for them. They went 0-3 with the worst point differential of any team in the round robin, so they might be in trouble.
I just got a text from him like, hey, your game's at 12 o'clock. He responded back, we're taking steroids in the parking lot.
I hope so. They're playing against the Raptors HQ team. Well, not a Raptors HQ team, but one guy from HQ. So hopefully Barry and Nick get it done.
All right, let's see.
I might have to step out there. I don't know.
I don't think it's going to happen, though. Those guys are, 90% of winning is showing up, kind of, they say. Yeah. Apparently not true.
No. I know Nick's got road hockey game. I've seen the Captain Morgan commercials, but I don't know. I didn't get to watch them that much. Actually, I was on the other court, so.
All right, man. Let's talk some Raptors for a second, man. Why? No one talk some Raptors?
We can talk a little bit of Raptors.
A little bit of Raptors. So, talk to me about this assistant coach situation here. I mean, apparently we've offered this position to like 3 different people, including the Spanish guy. Nobody seems to want it. If you're Dwane Casey and you got to recruit an assistant coach, what do you tell him knowing that you're a lame duck coach?
I'm not sure about that. I think with the Spanish national coach, my instinct with that one is that they probably would have told him taking the job meant no FIBA Eurobasket this year and no Olympics in 2016, which for a guy who's on his second stint with the national team might have been a non-starter. Like, I mean, that tournament's in late August, early September. So if they told him, yo, we need you now, you can't do the national team stuff, he may just not have wanted it for that reason. But I don't know. Like, I guess if you're a really good assistant, Casey being a lame duck is maybe even a positive because you could be next in line, especially if Casey's hiring you as his number one. I don't know if Nurse is still his number one technically, or if he'd be, getting someone to fit in there. But I don't know. I don't think it's an unattractive job. I just think whoever's getting it has to look at it as a 1-year gig, which is fine for some people.
Tom Stern would have been happy with a 1-year gig, but so we didn't talk about Dwane Casey returning so far. So if Dwane Casey is the answer, Blake, what's the question?
I don't think Dwane Casey is the answer, but I don't think getting rid of Dwane Casey for another coach of Dwane Casey's ilk is the answer. Like, I saw people pushing for Scott Brooks. Well, Scott Brooks is taking the year off. Tom Thibodeau and Jeff Van Gundy are probably not taking this job. Monty Williams is Dwane Casey in slightly larger suits. Like, there wasn't a move to be made. I get that people were frustrated and want to get rid of Casey, but like, until Ujiri sees that his guy is available, it's kind of shuffling deck chairs, and then you're going to get rid of Casey. You're going to pay him for this season. You're going to hire another guy. No coach is going to sign on for less than like a 3-year deal, and then maybe that stalls Ujiri making his next move. When maybe he has his eye on someone. Maybe he sees an assistant coach. I like the idea of Jim Boylan going from deep on the Spurs bench to the Bulls number 1. I think he's a nice target. Maybe he's the number 1 assistant for the Canadian team too under Triano. So I don't know. I see there are guys who are well respected who are moving up assistant coaching ranks. Maybe Ujiri has his eye on one for a little bit down the line. Melvin Hunt was an assistant in Denver. He's said to be really well thought of. He just left the Nuggets for the Mavericks bench. Maybe he's a candidate down the line. I'm not sure.
So some free agency talk here, man. Lou Williams apparently is going to get interest from the Knicks, which makes sense. You got Kings. You got a bunch of teams interested in Lou Williams here. Do you want him back at all? Like, does any part of you want Lou Williams back, given his playing type, I should say?
Yeah, I mean, I'd want him back were he to sign another 1 year, $5 million deal that he played on this year. By all means, of course, it's not going to happen. He's going to outstrip the mid-level, it sounds like. The teams that seem to be interested in him are the ones who don't necessarily value efficiency all that high and have a lot of cap space in a summer where there are no superstars available. There's no, like, LeBron's going to opt out and re-sign, but there's no LeBron out there. There's no Melo. Maybe there will be a Dwayne Wade, but like Lou Williams is the type of guy who could command 8, 9, 10 million in these market conditions, especially with the cap going up. He can sell himself to a team that, like, look, you got cap space now. This 8 or 9, 10 million is going to be much less percent-wise later on. I don't think he fits for the Raptors. I like, he won 6th Man of the Year. It was a ton of fun this year. I don't think with the money already committed to Lowry, DeRozan, and Gravis Vasquez, it's the right allocation of resources for this team. They got him for free, and he won them 6th man and won them a couple games. And not every relationship has to be a long-term one.
I mean, this was the ideal situation for him as a contract year guy to play with Dwane Casey. No shot's a bad shot, man. He made the most of this situation.
Absolutely did, and yeah. He did, and that's the thing. And I see why, like, after a great season, a lot of fans might want him back. But, like, they got him for free. He helped them out. He helped, push them maybe a couple wins higher than they would have been otherwise in the regular season. And not every player has to stay with every franchise forever.
Absolutely.
That would be a great segue to Amir Johnson, by the way, if that's where you're going.
Amir Johnson. Okay, let's talk about Amir. I was going to actually go talk to some people, but hey, let's talk about Amir Johnson here, man. Free agent right now. He was underpaid, by the way. So apologies to Brian Colangelo for all of us making fun of him for giving that contract. Brian, you were right. He was underpaid all the way.
Same for
great
DeRozan.
Job. Same for DeRozan, I'd say. But Amir Johnson, you want him back at this point, Blake, or as a starting power forward?
I want him back as a dude who I like talking to when I go to the games and seems to be, kind of the heart of the team. I think it sounds like he turned down an extension during the season. The max extension they could have given him was 3 years, $24 million. I'm not sure he's going to get a higher annual salary than that if he's going 3 years. I could see him getting, a little bit north of that if he's signing for 1 or 2 years. I could see him being a full mid-level guy. I don't think if the Raptors want to take the next step forward, he's the answer at that price. Like, him and Tupat are a nice platoon, and I would really, really hate for Amir to go somewhere else. But I don't know if it makes sense.
So final point here. Dwane Casey came out this week and said something like the role of the big man has changed, or it's the end of an era for centers in the NBA, while he has Jonas Valanciunas, who is arguably one of the best centers in the East, kind of on his roster. What do you make of his comments? Like, is he struggling to find a role for Valanciunas in the offense that he wants to play?
Well, I think you've seen here at the 3-on-3 tournament today that not a lot of these teams are playing back to the basket anymore. These are a lot of 2-point shooting teams. Yeah. These are a lot of teams that are, multiple guards that can whip the ball around the court. And I think the Raptors are going to look at this tournament here and see the way the 3-on-3 game is going and try to adjust.
Definitely the talent here is a cross-section of the NBA for show.
Yes, absolutely.
Dwane Casey, Valanciunas.
I think there's a place for guys like Valanciunas for sure. That what happened in the finals with two very unique teams. The Cavs pressed into a very unique situation. Like, the Warriors they're not the standard. Every team is not the Warriors. And, the Hawks, could hurt the Raptors a little bit like that. But, like, you look at a Wizards team that beat the Raptors, yeah, they went stretch fours for times and the Raptors didn't adjust, but they play two traditional big men too. It's not the game moving away from traditional back to the basket guys doesn't mean there's not a place for him. Like, Jahlil Okafor is still going to be a top 5, probably top 3 pick, because post offense is still a good way to go. And if every other team is going away from that, well, then that gives you a size advantage, right? I understand the Valanciunas not late in the fourth quarters when you need defense, and he needs to get a little smarter with his coverages, and he's not going to get a little quicker, but it would help. But I don't think coming out and saying, no, there's, the game's moving away from players like this, that's not the way to keep the value of your assets high. I thought it was a poor choice to make those comments publicly.
Yeah, I just feel that every time you shove a microphone in Dwane Casey's face, he ends up looking a little smarter than he was before. So maybe not give so many interviews. Hey, man, we got to talk about the draft. 20th pick coming up here. I know for the score you've written profiles for pretty much like 100 different players. Any idea what Ujiri's going to do with this pick?
Yeah, I thought I did. George Lucas DePaulo was a teenage Brazilian point guard, 6'5" with a 7 foot wingspan.
What's his wingspan though?
7 feet for a point guard, but he pulled out of the draft though. So I don't know. It's an interesting spot because this draft is, like most drafts, pretty tiered, and I think shortly before number 20, there's a drop off. There's I don't want to say like a clear top 18, but like 17, 18, 19, the same guys are going in every mock, and the same guys seem to be ranked about the same. And then it kind of opens up a little bit where, maybe it's not about best talent available, maybe it's about filling a need, and it's tough. The guy I like the most that's going to be available there is Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, but putting another non-shooter on this team, like unless they're just going to say, fuck it, we're not... Sorry, can I say that on a sponsored podcast? Unless they're just going to say, no, we're not going to shoot threes, like it's playing him, DeRozan, and Valanciunas all together would be tough. But if you want to up the defensive side of the basketball immediately, that's a guy who's going to be able to guard 3 positions, maybe 4 positions capably, and like make a huge impact at that end. And that's kind of why I like him there. When you're picking at number 20, if you can get one guy who's going to do one thing really well, I think that's a win there.
So is he going into this draft thinking that, like, what's the chances of the Raptors kind of packaging this for a kind of ready now type player? Because the team's kind of rebuilding on the fly. We're not really it's not a grassroots rebuild here. We got to fix things on the fly. So does it make sense to actually draft and get a pick and go through the whole rebuilding process? Or because in my article I was like, you got to pick a junior at least if you're going to pick somebody.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. Like Hollis-Jefferson is NBA ready.
Is he?
Yeah, absolutely. Defensively, he's short of Willie Cauley-Stein, he's the best defensive player in the draft probably. Maybe Towns, but like he's right there. He's the best wing defender in the draft for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think using the number 20 pick is rebuilding. You see contending teams do this all the time. You try to get, you plug a rotation hole. You're not swinging for the fences at number 20 probably.
Yeah, but when you draft a rotation guy, don't you, like, he doesn't plug the hole immediately. You kind of like a Spurs model, right? You draft like whatever the Canadian guy they got. He sat on the bench for a year and a half or 2 years, and then he started contributing. Same thing for the Raptors. No, you got to give that like breathing time for guys you draft.
You can if you're the Spurs.
Okay.
You can't really if you're the Raptors. Like, you're already next year, you've got Bruno and Bebe, who are going to be probably D-League shuttle guys. Like, they're not.
D-League!
They're still not going to play minutes. So yeah, I think they would look for a more ready guy. If Lou Williams goes, there's a couple of guards in Jerry and Grant and DeLone Wright who might be able to come in and back up both positions right away. And I think Hollis-Jefferson's another one of those guys who's ready. If Amir walks, Montrezl Harrell is another, like, he's physically ready. Again, lower upside than some of the other names. But yeah, I don't think making that pick and committing a few minutes to a rookie is that big a deal. I don't think it's a step back. I don't think it changes the timeline. And mostly, I don't think if you trade it, it's going to get you very much. It's the number 20 pick.
Yeah.
Like, look at the guys that we're talking about right now and how unenthused your face is right now about getting some of them. You think another team's going to give up a guy who's, not a star, but like a sure contributor to take a flyer on one of these guys? I don't think so.
It would definitely have to be a package of some sorts. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And what are you going to package? Like Ross?
Terrence Ross.
At the
James Johnson,
yeah.
Tyler Hansbrough.
Hansborough's gone anyway.
Is he?
Hansborough's unrestricted.
I thought it was a one plus one deal, wasn't it?
No, that plus one passed.
Okay.
Yeah, he's unrestricted.
Does that make you sad?
No, I don't. That's fine. He served his purpose. Maybe he'll come back cheap. I don't know. I don't want to pay him $3.5 million again, but like, there are worse guys to bring off the bench.
All right, Blake, man, thanks for talking to us. Let's go around the court and talk some Raptors. All right, I'm here with, what's your team called?
Inside Noah's Ark.
How'd you guys do in the first round here?
3-0 so far.
3-0. Are you guys from the Raptors HQ part?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who's from Raptors HQ? Me. Oh, this guy. What's your name?
James.
All right, James is going to talk to us some Raptors here. So we got the right guy. We got the right knowledge here. So let's talk about Dwane Casey, man. You excited about that he's returning?
Is it official? Is he coming back for good?
Yeah, he's back.
I'm not excited, but I'm not disappointed. I think the thing with coaching too is that, like, quite frankly, if there isn't someone better to take over, it's not just about getting rid of a guy, right? And we've had success under him, so it's not. He might not be the best coach in the world, but honestly, like, I think we're doing well. We've done better in his seasons with us than we were before, and yeah, we'll see how we do in another season.
What happened to the Raptors in the playoffs here? Can you explain how a 4-0 sweep happened here?
In my humble opinion, it wasn't just the playoffs, right? I mean, it's not like the Raptors are playing well post All-Star break. They had a really, really hot start, which inflated their record. They kind of fell back to earth, and you saw it. The inconsistency was there all end of this late season, and even with injuries, right? Like Lowry was out for a long time, and then we were just kind of hoping. I think fans knew, but we were hoping he'd come back full strength, and he wasn't there. And overall, we just faced. I do think like the intangibles do matter, right? And we faced a veteran team that kind of knows how to play, and I think 4-0 is inexcusable, but I'm not surprised that we lost that series.
Let's switch gears completely. This whole "We the North" thing, you digging it?
You know, at first, I honestly think we can do better than "We the North," like the actual slogan, but it did bring people together, right? The hashtag is everywhere. The Raptors did a great job. MLS did a great job marketing it. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of unified a nation in terms of basketball. So, yeah, I like what it's done. I don't actually love the 3 words together, but, yeah, I like the effect.
How do you feel about wearing a Raptors Republic shirt while working for Raptors HQ?
The moment we win this tournament, I'm going to give a shout-out to Raptors HQ. So, yeah, 4 more games, yeah.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. All right, back here with another team. What's your team's name?
Waterloo White Boys.
Waterloo White Boys. What's your name?
Matt.
How'd you guys do in the round-robin stage here?
2-1, but first on point differential, so that's good.
It's not bad. Who are you guys facing in the next round?
I have no idea.
It's probably a lower seed because you guys did so well here. So let's talk some Raptors, man. You got summertime here. Free agency's on the horizon. Any particular free agent that's catching your eye as you look at who's available?
Well, I was liking Taj Gibson for a while, but a little ankle surgery just kind of turned me off a little bit. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now. This isn't okay.
That's all right. Taj Gibson, he's one of those guys that every team kind of values, right? He's one of those guys that could plug a hole anywhere, and the Bulls apparently aren't interested in re-signing him. But let's talk about the Bulls for a second. Tom Thibodeau was available. Are you disappointed that the Raptors didn't go for him?
A little bit. I don't know if we had a realistic shot at getting him, so I wasn't too upset about it. But I mean, it was a nice little pipe dream. But we still got Casey. Casey's been doing good so far. Had a bad year in some people's eyes, but still a better year than we ever had. So you can't complain too much.
All right. So given the current roster, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry are your 2 main guys. Do you think we can win the championship with DeRozan and Lowry as 1-2, or can we win the East with DeRozan and Lowry as 1-2?
Preferably probably 2-3, but I mean, if the Kyle Lowry, who was playing from September to December, shows up, I think that's a solid one. That's a real one there. He's probably a little hurt in the last couple months probably, but hopefully he comes back. A little summer's rest.
All right, man. Thanks for talking. All right, we're here with
Anton.
Anton, what team did you play for here in this tournament?
I played for the Wet Bandits.
How'd you guys do in the round robin?
We finished 1-2.
Happy with the performances so far?
Not really. I feel like we could have played a better team defense, but we got lazy on offensive rebounds, which killed us on the kickouts.
Well, you're in the knockout stage, so that's a good thing, eh?
Yeah, it's it's better than I can ask for.
So let's talk about some Raptors here. You wanted to talk about Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan as long-term franchise plays for the Raptors. You think we can win the East with DeRozan and Lowry, given the state of the East, say, in the next couple of years?
I don't think we could win the East with DeRozan being our franchise player, mainly because I think he's hit his ceiling. He's improved his ball handling in the offseason, but his decision-making and at the end of the game, I just don't think I have enough confidence in him to carry the team where they need to be. And defensively, he's not our stopper. He's got to be a guy that we can rely on both ends of the court. I think right now he's too much on one side, on the offensive side. On defense, he's still got a lot of work to do.
How much do you think that was Dwane Casey's setup more than DeRozan's individual thing?
Well, I think it's both. I don't think it's all on DeRozan. He's got to work within the system that Casey set up. The thing I would question Casey on is his utilization of Valanciunas at the end of the game. It was just too inconsistent. So I don't think he knew what to expect. I don't think the team knew what to expect. And to be honest, I think James Johnson could have been a huge key role guy for us in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of fans kind of feel that way. So with DeRozan, you said he's improved every year, but at the same time he's hit his ceiling. And those are kind of contradictory statements, aren't they?
Well, he's improved in other aspects of his game. Like, he hasn't quit. He hasn't really mailed it in. But I don't think he has it in him to be on the next level. He's not going to be, I think his max potential is a Joe Johnson type of player who needs another guy to create off the ball for him. Not really a great defender, but he'll hit a big shot here and again. So I think that's the best he'll ever be. Not a franchise player though.
So would you look at trading him this summer, or give him one more year and see how much he develops in another summer?
I think I would look to trade him if you can get value for him now. Somebody who can still complement Lowry, and maybe help on our backcourt a bit, because I think Lowry's biggest problem is he was playing 82 games with his style, and he's gonna have to adapt.
Let's talk about the bench a little bit, man. You had Vasquez and Patterson last year. How do you guys think? How do you think those guys did?
I think Patterson played really well at the beginning of the season. His shot started to drop off in the second half for some reason. Vasquez, I think, was a steady backup all the way. When he needed to play the entire game or start, he was able to answer that. And I think he can start on a lot of teams. So I think off the bench, those two guys with Lou Williams, that's a solid second unit, and they could play on the starting lineup for a lot of teams in the league.
Lou Will's gone though now, eh?
Is he?
Yeah, he's gone. He's not. He's getting offers like 9-10 million from the Knicks. He's not going to come back. How does that make you feel?
I don't know if I would pay him $10 million. Like, that's Jose Calderon money. Yeah. And
for a one-dimensional guy.
For a one-dimensional guy, yeah. I mean, he carried the team at times, and he was a good guy off the bench. But I don't think we're going to restrict ourselves for a guy who just plays one role.
All right, man. Good luck in the second half here.
Thank you.
Well, we got Nick Reynoldson here from Talking Raptors. Nick, rough first half for the day for you.
Very rough. Very rough. We're getting beat pretty badly. But it's fun, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to kill myself after this.
Yeah, you were placed in a pretty tough group there, eh?
Yeah, I like what I see what you did there, Zarar. Appreciate that. Some killers. How are we on gang signs? Because I hit a couple threes and I'm throwing up gang signs and I will not stop.
Yeah.
Scarborough, baby. Scarborough.
I did see a floater in your game, even though 80% of the time it kind of hit air.
It's a real floater. It floats, baby. No rim, nothing. We float it. We float it. That's what we're doing.
So what did you guys discuss at the halftime here before the knockout stage starts?
How horribly out of shape we are is what we discussed. We took some time in the parking lot, realized we have to reevaluate most of our lives, and set some good screens, and that's it.
I saw Barry's defense in some of those games being very suspect, man. I think the effort was a bit low there. It was a bit Terrence Rossish.
It's very Swiss cheese defense. It's part of our style, though. We're very, we're very fluid in our game. We don't know what we're doing. We'll figure it out, though.
Yo, Blake's here. Blake, did you happen to check out Nick and Barry in their games here with the headbands intact?
I didn't see much of it. No. It's sounds like I missed it though. But you guys got the top team now, so you guys gotta take them out.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good afternoon. The best team?
The number 2 team, I think.
Cool.
The defending champs are probably
we played one team that was so good they laughed at us the whole time, and I don't even think they broke a sweat. They just kept jacking threes, and listen, I'm 5'6.5". I can't guard them.
All right, we're here with
Dwane Lero.
You played for which team here?
I'm playing for the 6 shooters.
How'd you guys do in the first round here?
Not bad. 1-3, 1-2.
So you want to talk about the Raptors? You were a bit surprised at the playoff exit here, or the manner of the playoff exit here, eh?
Yeah, because the season record was 3-4 against Washington. Even though they were a tough team, I expected them to win. I expected them to come out of the first round. I really did.
Didn't you think the playoff experience that Washington possesses, John Wall, they won a playoff round last year. They got Paul Pierce. They got a shitload of experience on that team. Did you think that would matter at all here?
You know what? I thought it would be a factor, but not as great as it was. And I expected that, this young-hearted team with, the open running back and forth would just, wear these older cats out. But apparently that's what we might be missing is a veteran, an older person that that's been in this situation before, that can show that leadership in the tough times. But I think that's what kind of threw them over the edge and what we were lacking.
So you're saying going into the summer we got to look for a veteran?
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they go for a veteran, go for someone that perhaps at least just may have been in the playoff, gone past a few rounds or so. Whether it be a big or one of the guards, I'm not too sure, but I really think that hey, settle down, relax, guys. We can still do this. Attitude's really needed on our team.
You're happy with the core of DeRozan and Lowry leading this team forward?
I do. They're young players, and they have a lot of potential, right? But I think that we derive from the focus, which is the team play, and on those two kind of heading out the offense. When we have a bunch of like a cast and a bench that can put up numbers in a big way. So I'd like to see them move the ball around, but of course those guys spearheading the whole action. But another veteran presence, one more. I'm not too sure who it is. I'm kind of curious to see who they're looking at.
What about somebody like, say, Tony Allen, if he's available from the Grizzlies?
Tony Allen, I think that would be a good fit. That could possibly work. Not to say, there's a lot of hypotheticals. Who's going to be where and what what players are going to stay on what team. But like a Tony Allen, Tony Allen's what, is 32, must have been in the year of the league about 10 to 11 years, right? That's the kind of person I'm looking to kind of see on our roster, whether it be a guard or a Tony Allen per se. I don't know, but someone like that. Even a Jeff Green that's sitting on their bench. He's not really seasoned in the sense of a playoff, but he's been there a few times with OKC, with Boston throughout. He's been through adversity, I feel, and like a player like him coming on our squad. Wishful thinking, Carmelo Anthony. What does he really want to do in New York anyway?
Forget Carmelo. Jeff Green, by the exercise his contract option, so he's sticking around.
Yeah.
So good luck in the second half, man.
Hey, thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks for taking the time.
We're here with
Mal.
Mal. How's your team do so far?
We're in the quarters, man. We've been 2-1, so pretty good so far.
So off-season time here with the Raptors. What's the biggest need of the team so far heading into the off-season?
I think we need a wing defender. That's what I think we need. I don't think Ross is doing it. He's our go-to guy on wing defense, but I think that's where we're getting killed ultimately.
What about James Johnson? He's on the team, no?
Johnson's good, but I think he's more of an offensive threat. Whereas defense, I think we need to step it up a little. And I think Johnson is more of a stretch power forward as opposed to a wing defender.
So you're looking for a small forward basically on the market. Anybody on your mind?
I was thinking a defensive small forward like a Trevor Ariza. I don't know if he's a free agent, but something of that caliber. Lance Stevenson, I know he just got traded recently, but that's the kind of mentality I'm looking for.
How does it make you feel that we passed on, like we could have gotten Harrison Barnes, but it weren't for a coin flip, then we ended up going Terrence Ross?
Yeah, it's bad luck, I guess. I mean, Harrison Barnes, he's now a champion. That's something I think we could have definitely used. He's obviously a good wing defender, and he's a spot-up three-point shooter when he needs to. So I think that's something that we could have definitely used, but we missed out.
What do you think of Patrick Patterson here? You think he's got the talent to be a starting power forward in this league? You think he's good enough to start at the PF for years to come?
I think it depends on the overall team, more or less. I think it's heavily based on how Valanciunas develops. If he can be a dominant center in the paint, then I think Patterson will fit in well, because Patterson, he's not more of a down low guy. He's more of an outside wing shooter and mid-range. So I think we have to rely on Valanciunas a lot in order for Patterson to be a starting power forward caliber at the highest level.